All right, Lucas, let's talk a little bit about garlic, because I understand you really like garlic, don't you?
Love it.
How much do you love it?
It's basically used as a condiment in my household now.
Okay, so you do love it.
Every night.
Every night.
Yeah.
All right, well, look, let's talk about some good garlic cultivars, okay?
Tennessee is a great line because we can grow either soft neck or hard neck cultivars.
Okay.
And if we were kind of discussing the difference between the two, soft neck cultivars of garlic need to be grown in Louisiana, Florida, Texas, some of the more warmer regions. Now hard neck need to be grown above kind of zone 7. So Tennessee is basically right on the line for being able to grow both. Some of my favorite ones that I've grown over the past few years, my favorite one is kind of pictured all over the table here, is Purple Glazer. It's a hardneck variety of garlic. The only problem with hardneck varieties of garlic is that they don't last long in storage.
Okay.
So a lot of the ones we get commercially at the store, they're all soft neck because they'll last in storage upwards of a year. Hardneck cultivars of garlic will last only about 5 to 6 months. So by the time I get around to November, I'll usually, whatever's left over, put it back into the ground.
Okay.
Some other ones that people really like around here are chestnut red. And one that I really like this year that's pretty warm whenever it's eaten raw is called Bogatir. So you'll see a lot of different heirlooms and a lot of different companies selling all sorts of different kinds. And I would hate to take a guess at how many cultivars there are available today, but there are quite a few, and Tennessee's blessed that we can grow any of them. So
that's a good deal.
Yep.
Now let's tell the people, what's the difference though? Hard neck and soft neck. Why do we call them hard or soft necks?
All right, kind of showing right here, hard neck actually develops a flower. So down the center of the bulb, you'll actually have a flower. You'll pull up and twist.
Okay.
Most people who are growing it break off that flower because it sends more energy to make a bigger bulb. And we're growing garlic just for the bulb.
Right.
I'm not a huge fan of the flower to begin with.
All right.
We want more garlic.
That's right.
So the soft neck cultivars don't develop a flower. So you actually, if you cut them diagonally kind of across the bulb, you'll see that a hard neck has a long stem down the middle, and all the ones that we get commercially at the store have no kind of stem down the center of the bulb, so they don't develop a flower. So that's the main difference between hard neck and soft neck cultivars. One develops a flower, which is the hard neck, and soft neck does not develop it.
Good stuff, good stuff. All right, now, how do we properly plant these garlic though?
All right, this is one of those crops that's so easy to grow.
Is it easy?
Oh, you would
like
believe
easy.
it. Oh,
we like easy.
I think more people need to grow it because
right.
Whenever people ask me, I want to start a garden, they never ask me, I want a high maintenance garden. What can I grow?
You're right.
They want low maintenance type things to grow.
That's right.
And I think at the top of the list is garlic.
Okay.
So if we're doing this, because really, there's really not any pest diseases. Nothing
good.
really eats it.
That's good.
It has rare diseases, so really nothing bothers it to begin with. If you really can't grow this, you probably shouldn't be gardening to begin with, actually.
All right.
The proper planting in Tennessee, we need to plant it about October to November. Typically, and I'm actually near Nashville, I like to plant it about the first weekend of November.
Okay.
So you'll actually see it develop kind of a green stem through winter, frost, snow, anything throughout the wintertime, and it will still do fine.
Oh, that's good.
So about the first weekend of November, the last weekend of October is an excellent time to plant garlic in Tennessee.
Okay. pH range, does that matter?
It likes it a little bit slightly acidic, so if you read some of the research on it, if you can get it 5.8 to 6, it'll do fine actually, but most Tennessee soils are very fine for growing garlic.
Okay, now here's another question somebody may be thinking. What about fertilizer or organic matter, compost, or what would you recommend using?
Anytime organic matter you can add to the soil is fantastic, and I think it always helps out with aeration.
Sure.
Because what we're trying to do on this is we're trying to get root growth in the winter time. So typically when someone asks me, what do I need to fertilize it with? Most Tennessee soils have phosphorus and potassium already in it. But the only thing we need to add is nitrogen. But if we add too much nitrogen, we're going to get beautiful foliage and no bulbs.
No bulbs, right.
So typically whenever someone asks me, it's usually about a half a pound per 100 square feet of just nitrogen. So phosphorus and potassium are typically there, but a soil test is the best way to tell what you got in your ground to begin with.
That's right.
So that would be the best way. And you do not fertilize after April, because May and June is when we're focusing on bulbs. If we fertilize with a lot of nitrogen, we're going to get all this excess growth, and we don't want that in May. We want bulb growth.
There you go. Okay. All right, so how about harvesting?
All right, what I do is I typically wait for the plant, the bottom few leaves to go brown. When I have 5 or 6 still green leaves on the top, that's when I dig it up, because each leaf represents a shell around the bulb. And I want 5 to 6 shells around the bulb to last in storage. So whenever I get 5 to 6 green leaves still on top of the plant, I dig it and I hang it in an open air barn out of the sun to dry. So I'll actually tie them in bunches together and throw them over the rafters in the barn. And I want wind to get all the way around it, and I don't want it to be in sun. We've had some people put it in their garage, and garages get really hot. It's best if you've got a back porch that's out of sun to hang it on that back porch. And it'll keep the vampires away too if you have issues with that.
That's right. Hey, you can't talk about garlic without talking about vampires,
That's exactly right.
Hey,
Everybody mentions it.
That's right. So what about storage? So we want to get these stored.
Once it actually gets cured, so this is once it's actually been cured inside my barn, I actually go through and I cut this off, and I'll actually cut the roots off, and I will hang it around my house in little bitty netted bags because it's stored fine once it's actually dried. Your goal is to get it dried before you bring it inside your house, because a lot of people's houses are really humid, and if you bring it inside the house once it's been in the garden for a long time and it's still got some moisture in it, it can rot. So we always tell people, before you bring it inside your house, let it completely dry or cure, and then it'll last until you want to plant it or eat it.
Wow, so completely dry.
It needs to be completely dry before you bring it inside, because some people's houses are really humid, some are cooler than others, and it kind of varies in temperature and humidity. So we always say, make sure this is completely dry, and you can break some of the leaves to see if it's completely dry, and then just cut the top off and throw it away. And then I just think it's best to store it in little bitty netted bags, not in plastic.
Not in plastic?
Not in plastic,
okay.
yeah.
And why not in plastic?
Because it'll rot.
Because it'll rot, okay.
Because if there's any moisture left in there, we want it to not rot.
Right, that's right. Yeah, you're growing these perfect garlic. We don't want it to rot, right? Right? Because we want people to grow more garlic.
That's right.
Okay. Now let's talk about some excellent resources for more information about garlic.
I actually got hooked up growing garlic whenever I was working in a nursery in Cookeville, and there was an owner there named Jay Frankenfeld, and he was really into garlic. So when I worked there, it's been years ago, he said, you need to just start growing it, because I grew up in a household that was deprived of garlic. My mother hated garlic growing up, so I never had it until I moved out on my own.
Right.
So then when I moved out, I discovered the flavors of garlic and really enjoyed it. But the best book that I found is actually put out by Timber Press. This one's called The Complete Book of Garlic, and it's written by Ted Meredith. But it goes through the sections of storage, cultivars, and it goes through kind of in the back section of all the different cultivars that he's been able to find and how they grow. So it's probably 150 different cultivars in the back of this book, and it's a really good picture and description of each one that's available. And we're still discovering a lot of the heirloom varieties from some families whenever they come over to the U.S. So.
So there are resources about garlic.
Plenty of resources.
A lot of pages.
There's plenty of books, and this is probably my favorite book so far.
Okay. Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. To find out more information on this topic, just click on the familyplotgarden.com link in the description.